everybody, it's Katie. When we found out we were expecting our second child a couple years ago, one of my first thoughts was like, well, the kids are going to share a room because we only have a 2-bedroom house. So what's that going to look like? You know, how is that going to work? And I actually didn't really find a lot. I couldn't find a lot of people's experiences. So I figured when the time came, I would share what we did and how it has worked out. So what we did, our kids are 28 months apart. So my daughter was 28 months when my son was born, and he stayed in our room for the first 13 months, almost 14 months of his life. He was in like a cradle, sort of co-sleeper, and then in a crib. I introduced the concept of sharing a room to Alice really early because I wanted to give her time to adjust to that idea. I figured we would probably move him to her room when he was around a year old. So when he was a few months old, I just started kind of planting that seed and talking about how, you know, someday your brother's going to be in here. Someday when you wake up in the morning, you'll see your brother in the crib. You know, which side should we put the crib on, and try to get her input and stuff. When we did make the switch, we did it over the holidays. So we had been traveling and then we came back in town. Mike and I were off work, so we figured if things went really bad and both kids were up all night for several days, we could have some time to kind of like rebound from that. And the switch really went off without a hitch. The only thing that came up was for the first couple of weeks or so, Alice kind of had a hard time giving August the room for his naps. So she didn't like the idea of not being able to go into her room while he was napping. She was okay with not going into, you know, our room while he was napping, but being restricted to, you know, from her space during that time was hard for her. You know, she adjusted. We just did extra things with her. We spent special time in other parts of the house and stuff, and eventually she got used to it. So far, we have not had any sort of territory problems. I intentionally kind of interspersed all the kids' things. Their clothes are all together in one area. Their toys are all together in different areas. So there's not like a this is my side, this is your side kind of thing, at least so far. Now, the biggest concern I had before I put August into the room was that he wakes up a lot at night. He still does at almost 18 months. He wakes up maybe 2 to 3 times a night. But luckily, Alice is a very, very heavy sleeper, so she almost never wakes up. Even if we need to turn on a small light, and change a diaper or something like that, change pajamas, whatever, she generally doesn't wake up those times, which is a serious blessing. I think that covers the basics of our arrangement, so as soon as August wakes up, we will go inside and I'll actually show you what the room looks like. This is also a little bit of a time capsule for me because our kids, because they're boy-girl, they're only going to share a room for maybe a few more years, if that. So this is like a little piece of a very short time in their young lives that I want them to see someday. So here is the kids' room in its current configuration. This used to be just Alice's room. See my little assistant there peeking out. So this is just Alice's room, and if you've been watching me for a while, you've seen different furniture, different places, and of course Alice was at one point in this crib. Now August is 17 months right now. He was in this crib, or a bassinet, or in this crib in our room, which is literally just 10 feet down the hallway that way. So it wasn't like a huge change, but the changing table has always been here. So we do cloth diapers. So we have a wet bag. We do use a diaper stacker that fits pre-folds, and then we have his changing table. And people always ask about this wooden tray that the pad is in. This was my mom's. So when I was a kid, this is what she had. So it's like 35 years old or thereabouts. I don't think they make them anymore. So this tray it was part of a different dresser. It bolts to the back of this dresser, and it's been really nice to just kind of keep everything contained. And then we use these dowels on the sides. On this side we hang the diaper covers kind of to air out and stuff. It's been really nice. I think you could pretty easily DIY something like this. Maybe one day I'll try it just to do like a tutorial. And up here we usually have a bunch of cloth wipes in there, our solution, and then various things we want to keep out of reach of the kids. Something kind of creepy, this picture we found at an antique store, and Mike just like really connected with it, and we got it. I think it was before even Alice was born. And now, at times, August really has a strong resemblance to this kid. It's a little bit, I don't know what that's about. In the dresser, in the first drawer is cloth diaper stuff. The second drawer is all August clothes, and then the bottom 2 are Alice's. It's like sort of summer clothes in one and winter clothes in the other, and that's the way we've had this set up since August was born. Up top here I have the piñata that I made for Alice's first birthday. It's supposed to look like a hot air balloon. And I did actually do a video on that. That was quite a project. It's paper mache underneath, and then I filled it with like treats. And the kids had little ribbons that they used to like separate the bottom part and get the treats. And I like how it looks in here. Okay, so the best feature about this room are all these windows. It's sort of a blessing and a curse because it lets in a lot of light, but a lot of the time it just lets in a lot of heat. The windows behind them are really poor, you know, super old. They're like 100 years old, really drafty. So in the winter it's cold, and in the summer it's really hot, but it is beautiful light. We have a toy box here, and we just recently got a crib skirt, which is amazing, and I wish we would have got a really long time ago because now you can kind of stash stuff under the crib. This is a watercolor that Alice made in the past year. We got framed. And then down here, so we used to have a big bookshelf in this room with a ton of books. Because we're trying to simplify to get ready to move, we sort of downsized and put a lot of books into storage. We have library books on the bottom shelf and then some of their favorites up top. And it's on a really low table, so it's really accessible for the kids. Here's Alice's little toddler bed. We got this at a resale shop, but it's really served us well. It has rails on both sides, which you can take on or off. It has a drawer underneath for storage, so you keep like extra linens and things under there. We still have a lot more art all over the place, but we have pared things down. This was a print that was in Mike's nursery as a kid, sort of whimsical little animals and things in the forest. This one is made by a friend of ours in Los Angeles, and it's obviously the alphabet, and then it says all sorts of clever things about typography and letters and things. So here is the fairly small closet. Having the organizing system definitely helps. That was here when we moved in. So we have various storage bins and things. We have the kids' linens. This basket has all of their extra shoes and stuff. These are pretty much Alice's like dress-up clothes from various sizes. This side we have coats and things, some storage for me and Mike. Right now there's kind of a bunch of stuff just thrown in here. And at the very bottom there's this storage ottoman we used to have in the living room. Now we use it in here for the kids' pretend stuff, like pretend play, costumes and dress-up clothes and things like that. It's one of their favorite activities, so all the masks and old Halloween costumes and everything like that is stowed away in there. And that is pretty much all there is to this room. Ta-da! So kids, when you're watching this someday, this was your first childhood room. There's the puzzle August put all over the place. This is it, and it served us well. Alice, how do you like sharing a room with August?
Because I love August. Ow.
Alice, what do you want in your room when we move to a new house? What kind of room do you want in our new house?
All of my things.
What color would you like the paint?
Orange and yellow.
Ooh. And you're going to share with August?
Yes.
Cool? Yes. High five.
I'll do the movie right now.
We're making a movie. This is a movie, girl.
Oh, I want to watch it.
Okay. Say bye.
Bye.
I see you peeking. I know you're pretending, mister.